Did Blake Lively's director, Paul Feig, just prove she's lying? What she's saying then, Mr. Feig, is a lie.
Blake Lively basically lost it after her own A Simple Favor director completely tore her down.
You got trolled online for your own action.
Honestly, it's a mess everyone's trying to dodge, but the director's confession is about to make Blake look pretty bad.
It's just funny because now we can see that it's absolute nonsense.
And let's be real, who else knows all the behind-the-scenes secrets like the person calling the shots, right? Blake's been putting in major effort to push this poor me victim angle. It's actually kind of wild.
I just reported on Blake being terrified to walk the carpet.
She spent months spinning this narrative that she's so fragile, so emotionally wrecked, she can hardly hold it together. You know the type: crippling trauma, extreme anxiety, emotional meltdown, all that stuff.
If you guys remember, the emotional impact of Miss Lively has been extreme, not only affecting her, but her family, including her husband and 4 children.
But then, when the A Simple Favor premiere rolled around, did she stay hidden away? Nope. She strutted on that red carpet like she owned it.
Another Simple Favor was a nightmare.
Sure thing, Blake. You're supposedly too busted up to be seen by anyone, yet you made sure every camera got your best side. If your plan was to sell people on how Justin Baldoni ruined your life, you totally missed the target.
Paul Feig seems to be the one that can sort of get through to them both.
Instead of coming off like a woman who'd been broken by the legal drama, she looked like she was soaking up all the attention and riding high. But who needs credibility when you've got a photographer's flash lighting you up, right?
There are days when she has struggled to get out of bed, and she frequently chooses not to venture outside in public.
So there she was, glowing, confident, snapping photos with fans, and posting her perfectly timed, candid moments everywhere. This is the same person who, just days earlier, told the court she could barely leave the house because of her anxiety and trauma.
Behind closed doors, she has suffered from grief, fear, trauma, and extreme anxiety. She's also been experiencing repeated and painful physical symptoms as a result. Mr. Reynolds, too, has been affected mentally, physically, professionally by his wife and children's pain.
Yet she's out there making sure every second is immortalized on social media.
It doesn't seem like you're having that tough of a time, Blake Lively, I gotta be honest. And now your director is saying, well, you're wrong. She is not terrified to walk the red carpet.
Talk about a genius PR move. Someone who claims they can't even step out without shaking from panic manages to take dozens of photos in a single night, grinning like a lighthouse. If her legal team thought this would make her case bulletproof, they messed up big time.
What she's saying then, Mr. Feig, is a lie in her lawsuit because you, as a friend, are acknowledging that yes, no, she's not afraid to go out in public.
But here's where the real shocker hits. Her own director, Paul Feig, totally did her dirty. The guy who directed A Simple Favor, the same film she's dragging through this lawsuit, was not about to play along.
Paul Feig writing to Melanie King, you're wrong. Now, Melanie wrote Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick before they walked the red carpet at the South by Southwest, another Simple Favor premiere. I just reported on Blake being terrified to walk the carpet as Anna is pissed and never wants to work with her again.
Feig wasn't interested in the sob story. When a journalist tried to pitch the idea that Blake was terrified to show up at the premiere, Feig shut it down in seconds. And I mean instantly, with just 2 words: you're wrong. No sugarcoating, no, maybe there's more to it. He didn't beat around the bush. He basically called her out, and he did it in the most direct way possible.
Now, him saying you're wrong is very strange to me, because she's not wrong. He's just out there gaslighting the world into pretending that Blake and Anna are best friends when they're not.
And those 2 words? That was the end. With one little statement, Feig destroyed any last hint of credibility Blake had. Now, it wasn't just her own behavior wrecking her story. It was her own director saying none of it was true. That's harsh. This wasn't some random gossip writer dishing dirt. This was the director of her film. The guy who saw her daily and was supposed to be on her side, completely blowing up her narrative with one quick comment. Talk about getting thrown under the bus.
Said, please clarify, Paul Feig, are you confirming Blake's lying in her complaint about being terrified to go out and wasn't terrified to see people at South by Southwest?
Let's be real for a minute. Feig didn't do this because he cared about her feud with Baldoni. Nope. He did it because he's trying to keep his movie from turning into a public dumpster fire.
But at least engage, repost, retweet. Yeah, let's help get this a little louder, because maybe at some point he'll have to address this. It'd be interesting to see him finally actually address something that's factual, because he's basically admitting she's lying.
Imagine the fallout if he didn't step in. Every time people mentioned a simple favor, it'd be linked to the lawsuit and Blake's supposed breakdown that never happened.
She was out there, and we're going to go through all the things that she said since about how much fun she had and how great it was to go back outside.
And if you're thinking Feig's words were the worst blow, buckle up, because we're only scratching the surface. Right when Blake thought she had public sympathy on lock, the Aria manual audio leaked. And it was a complete game changer. Think of it like a whiplash plot twist.
Also, why are you always not trying to deny that Anna and Blake can't stand each other when they can't? Your crew confirmed this to me. Now, Paul's pretty vocal on social media. He has yet to reply.
Time passes, and that Aria manual recording comes out. Suddenly, Blake's carefully staged image comes crashing down faster than a toddler hopped up on sugar. It wasn't just another Hollywood catfight anymore. This was an all-out industry scandal, dragging Blake, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and one of Hollywood's biggest power brokers, Ari Emanuel, into a career sabotage storm.
We reported on this leaked audio last week. How Ari Emanuel, the weirdest part of this was how somehow in the show's history of the podcast, this was the first show that wasn't taped. Somehow the audio didn't get taped of the one episode in his 30 years, whatever it was, of shows of Freakonomics, has never messed up a show, Greg.
Turns out, during a Freakonomics podcast episode in January 2024, Ari Emanuel, also known as the head honcho at WME, William Morris Endeavor, straight up admitted that he personally dropped Justin Baldoni from the agency.
And why?
Not because Baldoni broke any rules or had a rap sheet.
Nope.
He did it because Emanuel is tight with Lively and Reynolds. Straight up.
He basically admits, yeah, I fired him because I'm friends with them. I don't even know if the things are true. Baldoni. If he did it, it's effed up. The fact that WME fired Justin is a huge cause for a lot of the damages that he's now suffering, including the loss of his Pac-Man movie and deals that Wayfair had. What are the real ramifications of this? And does it help that there's now actual audio of it?
That's the moment Lively's story completely collapsed. She'd spent forever claiming the industry was ditching Baldoni because of these serious allegations. But in reality, the truth was way messier. Baldoni got the boot because of friendships, not facts. How's that for a plot twist? Ari Emanuel, the CEO of the biggest talent agency in Hollywood, openly says he can't a guy's career because he's buds with Blake and Ryan.
You know, what you're trying to prove in the defamation case is that you actually suffered damages related to whatever you were defamed about or whatever was mistruth about you. And sometimes that's a hard nexus to prove. It's going to be hard nexus for Lively to prove that her skincare line tanked.
And if you think it stops there, think again. Not only did Baldoni get axed without proof of wrongdoing, but that firing demolished his entire career. The dude had a live-action Pac-Man flick in the works, a giant studio-backed deal that could have shot him into A-list territory. But once WME cut him loose, that movie evaporated, just gone. Same with Wayfair Studios.
Absolutely got rid of him because of these things that were said. And so now he's got a clear line to get damaged.
They were talking to major streamers like Amazon Prime Video and Apple TV Plus for a new series, supposed to be their crown jewel. But after Baldoni got blacklisted like he was carrying the plague, it all died. No streaming giant wants to touch a guy who is just quietly dumped by Hollywood's most powerful agency. Baldoni lost millions, and his career tanked, all because of Lively's inner circle. Nepotism is a real thing, apparently.
That's right. And so if you have somebody who has a significant amount of power in the industry and has the ability to tell stars not to go on your podcast in the future, and has general ability to make life uncomfortable for you and ask for a favor, you know, you're more inclined to do it, right?
And here's the kicker for Blake. This wasn't rumors or inside sources say. It was actual recorded proof. Before the audio, Lively's PR people could have spun it into some vague concerns about Baldoni's reputation storyline, But once that recording surfaced, it was over in an instant.
And, so I think there could be some argument about whether it was leaked and shouldn't have been leaked, and should they have the information or what it may be. But no matter what happens, this is a damning quote.
There's Ari Emanuel himself admitting he didn't know if Baldoni did anything wrong. He just didn't want the hassle, so he took the nuclear option, crushing Baldoni's career along the way. That's the kind of proof no PR wizard can hide. Lively's sob story about being a victim basically got torn to pieces. Legally, it's huge. Baldoni's defamation case just got a massive boost. He's got the CEO of WME on tape saying the firing had zero to do with any actual misconduct. That's the sort of evidence that makes losing a lawsuit really tough. And guess what else? The podcast episode where Emanuel casually threw Baldoni under the bus for his buddies? Yeah, that one got canceled before it aired. They blamed a technical glitch. Right? The one glitch in 500+ episodes that just happened to tank the exact segment where Emanuel spilled the beans?
Sure.
But the internet wasn't buying it. Independent journalists and regular folks online grabbed the audio, transcribed it, and posted it all over social platforms. TikTok, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Reddit, everywhere. Suddenly, all of Hollywood's dirty secrets were out in the open. Once people start digging, there's no stuffing that genie back in the bottle. And this wasn't just about Baldoni's job. It was a peek at how Hollywood protects its own. Meanwhile, Blake Lively? She's doing just fine. She just scored a narration gig for Hulu's upcoming doc Secrets of the Penguins. So much for that career in ruin story. And Ryan Reynolds? He's still raking in massive paychecks, headlining blockbusters, living his best life, while Baldoni's career is basically in the gutter. Talk about an uneven playing field. Here's the juicy part. This isn't done. Not even close. While most lawsuits settle quietly, this one is heading to trial. Lively and Baldoni aren't just fighting over damages, they're both defending their reputations. Lively's PR machine is spiraling. She got exposed for talking out of both sides of her mouth, acting like everything's chill in public, grinning and mingling at events, while telling the courts she's too emotionally crushed to function. It's kind of tough to sell. I'm a broken shell when you're smiling for the cameras. And now that we've got that audio confirming Baldoni was blacklisted over personal connections, her credibility is tanking faster than a rock in water. But don't assume Lively's just gonna give up. She's in too deep. This isn't about justice, it's about holding on to control. She's invested months, maybe years, into this lawsuit. She can't just drop it. If she settles or admits any exaggeration, that's a wrap on her image. She's got too much on the line. And Baldoni? Why would he settle? That leaked audio is his golden ticket, absolute proof the industry conspired against him. A recorded confession from one of Hollywood's top dogs showing Baldoni's career was torpedoed by personal bias, not any real wrongdoing. This isn't just he said, she said anymore. It's hard evidence that Hollywood's elite pick favorites and blacklist whoever they want. So now, the only solution is trial. And if this goes to trial, it'll be one of Hollywood's nastiest court battles in ages. It's no longer just about Lively and Baldoni, it's about the whole system. The system that protects the powerful and kicks everyone else aside. This case is going to be brutal, and as more truth leaks out, it's only gonna get messier. The real drama is just starting. And let's be honest, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni could have ended this fiasco easily. One quick photo op, a polite statement, and done. They could have snuffed out this lawsuit before it exploded. They'd both walk away with their reputations intact, no major career damage, and the usual Hollywood PR spin to smooth it over. It would have been simple. The press would have moved on. The public would have accepted some generic, it was all a misunderstanding explanation, and both Lively and Baldoni would still be free to work, lawsuit-free. And face it, that strategy usually works in Hollywood. Nobody cares about truth as much as optics. If they just smiled, dropped some line about, "We've resolved everything," the world would have shrugged and gone on with life. They'd still be raking in deals, and the industry would have found a fresh scandal to chew on. But nope, they decided to watch it all burn. They had a golden opportunity staring them in the face, a simple favor sequel. Lionsgate greenlit it in May 2022 with Lively and Anna Kendrick back and Paul Feig directing again. Perfect chance to bury the hatchet. What better way to show you've moved on from a public fight than teaming up for a major movie? The media would have milked that for all it was worth. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni put conflict aside for a simple favor sequel. They could have done interviews about professionalism and how they'd grown from the experience. The lawsuit could have been spun as some minor misunderstanding, and it would have faded into the background. The PR machine would be in overdrive, turning a near disaster into a comeback story. Studios would have rejoiced, and Lionsgate wouldn't have to juggle damage control. But nope, that ship sailed. At this point, this lawsuit stopped being about patching things up a long time ago. It's not about peace. It's about ego and survival. Lively can't drop it now. She'd have to admit she blew things out of proportion. She's been testifying for months that she's emotionally drained, can't work, can't deal with public spaces without falling apart. If she suddenly goes, "Actually, let's just move on," she's basically admitting the whole thing wasn't about real justice. It was about control. She can't undo that, so she's stuck. And Baldoni? He has zero reason to back off. He's already winning the PR war. Thanks to Ari Emanuel's tape confession, he's got the smoking gun. Unbeatable. They sabotaged his career purely out of favoritism, not because he did anything wrong. He isn't just trying to fix his reputation, he wants payback. This is beyond defamation. It's about career destruction. And his lawyers smell victory. Why give that up? So now it's about to get really ugly because it's bigger than them. It's a power play that neither side can afford to lose. Everyone in Hollywood's paying attention, and they know this could blow the roof off. Agencies, studios, PR folks, they're all sweating bullets. Because if this reaches the courtroom, every detail is going to become public. Every memo, every text, every internal chat, exposed for everyone to see. Lively, who's been hiding behind a polished public image, is about to face her worst nightmare. Right now, the biggest drama is coming from leaks and reporters piecing it all together. But if this hits trial, every behind-the-scenes conversation and shady tactic is going to be out in the open. And that's Hollywood's biggest fear: exposure. They hate having their skeletons rattling around for the public. That's why most cases get settled, 92% of them, because it's cheaper to pay someone off than to deal with the embarrassment. But in this situation, we're in that 8% that won't settle. Lively won't bow out because she's in too deep. Baldoni won't, because he wants justice after getting humiliated. So if you want to stay in the loop on this Hollywood showdown, hit subscribe and like, because this legal brawl is just kicking off.